Good evening, good evening. Here is the project Fazer 600. Work's well underway now at this point. It's obviously very well stripped down. Yeah, that's it basically. I'm stripping it, tearing it down. The brief for the project is just effectively to restore it. It's not that it's a classic, it's not that it's prestigious or fast or anything of that nature, but it's just that I grew up with it. I would have been finishing school when this bike was new in 1999, and it's just always a bike I've kind of fancied. And this one came and found us. Myself and Andrew, we decided to go halves on it. He bought it. It was on its side in a ditch. The owner bought it as a very fresh bike, and he unfortunately had some personal difficulties. His marriage broke down, and there was just no time for the bike, and it got moved from pillar to post. It lived outdoors for literally years and years, it seems, and he wasn't able to ride it, let alone mind it, let alone do anything with it. It was moved around, and yeah, we got it in a very scruffy state. It was quite a sad sight. It was a fine bike, I'm sure, at one stage. It's low mileage, it's only got 18,000 miles. That's what the clock shows, and all the signs we see prove that the mileage is right. So it's a black bike. All the fairings were damaged, and general tiredness, lots of corrosion on the engine and all the aluminium parts. But anyway, it's stripped down now. So what did we do yesterday? Yesterday we have two. We actually, if you look in there, on that shelf there, in the middle shelf, there's the remnants of a parts bike, which was with a similar backstory, but the difference is that it was even worse. It was a newer bike, but my God, I'm not sure if you're going to see the corrosion on the top of the gearbox and everything, but my God, that bike was just beyond saving. The frame was completely rusted out on that bike, so another shame. But look, it dies, so that our lovely black 99 gets to die another day. So here's the engine from that bike, and here are some parts. It was the nicer colour. It was the black and white, excuse me, the red and white colours. Can't see very much in there now. This is the dark. That's all that's left of it. The frame's out the side, and it's going to donate, funnily enough, this section here and down here is one of the few parts on the frame of the donor bike that's actually good. So it's going to donate those. All the rest of it is just not too serious, just something to take care of, cosmetic. There's more here. So even though they've got such a similar story, the black bike is just 100 times better. The carbs there for the black bike, they were totally seized. I won't, but they were actually hilarious. I'll just give you a little look at this one here. Just look at that. Minging, absolutely minging. So up here we've got more. These are the black nose cone from our bike. It's cracked and split. It's no more good. A black tank here. Completely. Oh my God! The inside of it is just absolutely filthy. There's no saving it. It's rusty metal. It's just a rusty mass. It looks good on the outside, but it's just no good. There is the red tank is in the back there. I can't really see it, and some more of the red bodywork. So the bodywork is going to be a hybrid of the two bikes. There's the tailpiece from the red bike, the front mudguard from the red bike, and the nose cone from the red bike is obviously going to be painted black. And all of the side covers and what have you, they're all there. They're all going to make up the black bike again. Here's some more parts. The engine bars from the red bike, the forks from the black bike. The red bike actually had adjustable suspension, So that's going to go on. We're just going to do the fork seals and renovate that. They both had exactly the same exhaust. So yeah, yesterday I had a major ordeal tearing those discs off. They were on the black bike since 1999 and they did not want to come off. It was only that I recently bought an impact gun. It was the only reason I was able to get them off. I also made a little tool. I'll show you. Just learning a bit more about mechanics the whole time. This, can I find this? The amazing special tool that I made is just an ordinary Allen key, just like this. But just to give it a fighting chance of opening it, I just cut it. I basically just nipped it off. So rather than having all of that torque and all of that tweak and all of that slop, it actually got most of the way. So I was very pleased with that. So what else did I do? So there's 2 sets of wheels. Discs from the red bike were already sold. So that was my big ordeal yesterday. There's no good tires. The tires, there's 2 sets of tires. There's a pair of tires from 2006. There's a pair of tires from 2002. The sad thing about the red bike is that it had 2006 tires, and I'd say they were never used. They're still loads of weight on those tires, but sure, you can't do anything with them now. So yeah, yesterday it was a big teardown day, and what I had to do was go through all the body work, decide all the things like the lights, you know, make a decision about which body work we were keeping, indicators, odds and ends of bits of it, which screen do we want. So I was just going through it all, breaking parts down into their smallest pieces. Like, it's actually amazing, the 2 bikes, they're like a married couple. They're opposites. Like this one of the few things, that bodge, we have no idea where that bodge came from. But yeah, all of the parts that are bad on the black bike are good on the red bike, despite the fact that they're both kind of within the same ballpark of being in the same kind of condition. So yeah, that casing is going to donate. It's going to be donated to the black bike. Yeah, the front end got swapped over. All that had to be inspected by course and take all the measurements just to make sure there was no other differences apart from the adjustability. So the bars and controls, going through all the electrics as well. There's a big box of electrics here, which are the best of the 2. We've got again back to that amazing opposite attracting concept. This is from the red bike. This top yoke is from the red bike, and I pulled off one of these gammy bloody fiber, whatever they call them, covers, and I just tore away some of it. It's absolutely pristine under it. Absolutely pristine. It's amazing. It's just that, like, it's in perfect condition, and the bars, actually, the chrome on the bars is perfect as well. Despite the black bike being the better bike, the red bike had better bars. It's just uncanny how they just managed to complement each other. There's very clearly one good bike between the 2. What else? Yeah, the electrics, the clocks will have to be switched over, obviously, to keep the original mileage with the bike, but the headstock, the top yoke, will have to be switched over. That involves as well switching the barrels, which is going to be a little bit of an ordeal, but it'll be fine. We'll get there. What else is there? Oh yeah, yesterday as well I put a bit of time into searching for decals, and yeah, we know they're available. There's somebody in the UK on eBay has a very decent set, and they're going to cost like €40 by the time they get here, which is absolutely brilliant. The other thing as well, you can see that it's on its paddock stand here. Most of the weight is being borne by this little stack of blocks. One of the challenges always when you're doing these types of projects is how are you going to store it in such a way that you can work on it safely. So what we're actually looking at is a little capstone there from just a concrete capstone, and then there's a bunch of 3x2s and a little bit of ply on top. So it's just about perched there now. That centre stand is actually hovering. And the other thing is, well, look, we're reworking it. Look at the bench. The bench is another recent construction of mine. very pleased with the outcome. I don't know where I came up with the concept, but the bike at the moment is on a 2 meter long section, and there's a 1 meter long section in front. So the way that I designed it was that if you have a really, really long bike, anything that's a cruiser or like of Andrew's V-Strom, which is out there, I made it long enough that you could have the front paddock stand and the back paddock stand and have a long bike in between the two when you've got the full 3 meters between them. But when you're just doing something like this, when you're working like this, you can actually separate it. It's just sitting there. You can just pull the whole thing away and give yourself an extra bit of room if you want it. But it also doubles as a tool bench, of course. And just in here as well, you can't really see, but there's some heavy planking, and the planking just sits on there, and it just, so there's a little ramp up, and the platform is 450 high off the ground, 450, 45 centimeters, and it's the perfect height. I'm quite tall. I'm 193 centimeters or 6'4". It's not fun getting down your knees working on bikes at times, but yeah, that's pretty much what I came up with, and it's been a roaring success so far. It's been a real ease to me. So that's it. We're going to drive on. I spent the day today cleaning. And the last thing I was doing today was just going through the last of the plumbing. I actually reassembled all the plumbing on the ground again, just so that I can make sure that I had everything accounted for, which I did, thank God. That came from the red bike. That's going to get blasted and probably going to get painted black. This thing here, the clutch cover, was absolutely gleaming it. I never saw a bike so dirty in this area. Never. I mean, I blew a half can of brake cleaner on that, as well as kerosene, as well as about 3/4 of an hour. It was incredible. I never saw such a low mileage bike so bloody filthy. And there was no Scott oiler. There was a Scott oiler in the red bike, but I thought there would be a Scott oiler in this to explain all this, but there was none. But in here it's pretty cleaned up now as well. Can't really see now with the dark, but yeah, so it's just a question of cleaning and degreasing, going through everything. Yes, we're going to block those ports, no problem. We're going to repaint this with my beloved Hammerite Silver, which I've used in kind of these applications in the past with great success. Good, durable, tough finish, and it really, really attractive, really, really compliant to use. So that's it. It'll be hammered silver. I put the very same stuff on the forks of my GSX 1400 5 years ago, and it's like I put it on yesterday. It's incredible. So yeah, you can see some of the corrosion and rot and rust and mank. That's going to be taken care of. It's just going to be cosmetic. We're going to replace this, as I said. We're going to paint the whole front of the engine there. We're going to use Simonized glass black. We're going to strip and polish the edges of these fins as well, just for a little bit of contrast. So that's pretty much it. We're going to go through the rest of it. The rear linkages and everything are fine. We're just going to, there's no play in it whatsoever. We're just going to clean up what's in there and strip it apart, clean it and lube it. There's no play at all, which is brilliant. Another sign that it is indeed a low mileage bike. That's it. So I don't anticipate it being a major project. Now that we're living under the shadow of coronavirus, it's not going to be long before we get it done, I think. One of the very funny things as well, and one of the signs that this bike just wants to come back to life is up there. You're going to see a very damaged tank. Bit of body work to do on that. It's no big deal. We'll get that done too. But what's very funny about that is I recently bought a car. It's just outside the window there. Just an old Project RX-8. I bought it for a couple of €100 just for fun. And went all the way from Cork here to Dublin. And just to pick up the car, and your man mentioned, oh, I work with a bike shop. I said, oh, which one? City Spares. I said, that's great. I said, we're into the bikes too. I told him a bit about the project and my motoring life. And he said, oh, do you need any Fazer parts? He said, we always have Fazers in the shop. And I said, oh, great. I said, well, the only thing that comes to mind at the moment is a tank. He said, I have a tank up there in the shed. He said, you can take it away for free. And that was all fine and well. I was laughing at that. But we have two tanks. They're both absolutely riddled with rust. So surprise, surprise, I opened up the free tank with a bit of persuasion. I basically had to break into it because he didn't have a key for it. And my God, it's immaculate inside. It is immaculate. So incredibly relieved about that, because I thought we were going to have a big bill there, big lot of hassle to sort it out. But the tank is, it's spotless, absolutely spotless inside. So we'll bodywork the outside of it and it'll go on. And it's just another part that just came out of nowhere and just proof that this bike is just dying to come back together. And we're delighted with the opportunity to help it. So that's all I've got to say. Keep an eye out, and hopefully we'll get this thing back on the road before too very long. Be good out there, ride safe.